Hey everyone, Nick here again, back to talk about The Walking Dead. Right now I'm going to be giving my review of episode 2 of season 8, and I'm going to start by saying that overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very, very action heavy. There was even more action in this episode than the premiere. I don't think it was as good of an episode as the premiere, but we'll get to that. But first, here are what I thought were the episode's strong points. One of my favorite moments was like this moral dilemma going on between Jesus and Tara regarding the savior that they found in a closet, and he'd wet himself and he was like, his hands were up, he was just begging them not to shoot him. And like, honestly, I knew where they were both coming from, but it seemed to me like Tara was a little too eager to shoot him. I get that you can't really trust them, but at the same time, not all the saviors are bad people. I mean, Dwight is showing himself to not be a totally bad guy. So, I don't think they should just immediately go shooting everybody. Don't get me wrong, when the guy attacked Jesus, I was like, shoot him. But, you know, I thought that dilemma was very interesting, and I thought it was well done, because, like, I saw where they were both coming from, and I understood both of their reasoning. I think about this kind of thing when Fear the Walking Dead did it, which is what they did pretty much for the entirety of Season 3. But for me, there was a huge difference. On The Walking Dead, it's like neither choice is presented as being definitively wrong or right. Whereas on Fear the Walking Dead, the choice just always felt wrong. Like there was always a better, more humane, more morally right choice. So yeah, that's... A lot of people said that Fear the Walking Dead was better in that regard than The Walking Dead, and I'm just like, no, I don't think so. The show stealer for me was Morgan, because the Aikido days are gone. I mean, I said that before last week, but I mean, the clear days are back. Because he's just killing everyone and everything. Morgan is such a fascinating character because he cannot find that balance. He either kills everybody or kills nobody. And the fact of the matter is, in The Walking Dead, you have to kill sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he necessarily killed any good people. I mean, a lot of them were just trying to run away. But, you know, it's just... He was in clear mode, so... Like, I get why he was shooting everybody on sight. But I really wish that he shot that long-haired guy that killed Benjamin last season. I even said this in my reaction, just shoot him and then call it a day. Because that guy is just the worst. Now, Jesus and Tara and all the others, they lined up a lot of those saviors that were surrendering, and they did seem to be legitimately surrendering. Like, they put their guns down, hands up. Didn't seem like anyone was trying anything, but I do find it a little odd. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do with all of them. Because there was a lot of them. There was probably 40, 50 saviors that they captured. And the previews for next week's episode are just them marching all of them down the road. I'm like, where are you taking these people? There's only one prison cell in Alexandria. And it's not that big. So yeah, I don't really know what the plan is there, but they might have something. I don't know. We'll find out next week, I guess. Overall, I feel like this episode was just not as strong from a plot perspective as the premiere, because the premiere had a good balance of like slower moments and action. I thought it had the balance nailed perfectly. This episode was just pure action. It was just like a straight up action movie. The timeline of this episode was a little weird for me because just some of the scenes would get awkwardly broken up. It would just jump from one to the other. Like first it would go to Morgan and Jesus and Tara and their shootout at the satellite place where they went in season 6 and massacred everybody there. And then it would cut back to Eren and a bunch of minor incidental characters shooting up saviors at another outpost. And it would just jump back and forth. And plus, with Rick and Daryl in whatever outpost they were at, it would just jump between them, and it was kind of awkward. Like, I feel like maybe they should have just got through one, like, have one reach its end, and then go to the next one. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't know if that would work, actually. I don't know. And now for the biggest problem I had with the episode. Morales' return. I mean, it's too improbable. It's way too improbable. I know it's a show about zombies, and on the spin-off, a zombie was struck by lightning, and that saved Daniel. So I know that it's probably kind of pointless to bring up realism in The Walking Dead, but like, given the way that the show has established its universe, like all the zombie stuff, sure, I can buy into that, but yeah, it's really kind of weird to try and wrap my head around the fact that Morales is suddenly back. Because the last time we saw him, in Season 1, he was heading west. I feel like he mentioned Birmingham at some point. Now, if the show still took place in Georgia, I'd say the odds of Morales rejoining the group would be slim, but not impossible. I'd say maybe 1 in 100. Well, maybe not 1 in 100. Maybe like 1 in 500. But they're in Virginia now. And Abraham was trying to get Eugene from Texas to Washington, and he got detoured to Georgia. So, I mean, I guess it's possible that maybe Morales just had the same thought Eugene had. Like, maybe DC will be a little more stable. But I don't know how he got there when Abraham had so much trouble getting there. It took Abraham months. I mean, I get that Morales has had about 2 years to get there, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird. It's a lot to take in, and I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it, and a lot of people are. But I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes, you know. For a while, I was always kind of thinking, like, you know, what if Morales comes back? There's a chance. But then they left Georgia and headed to Washington, D.C., and I pretty much just was like, well, it's never going to happen now. But, yeah, apparently it has. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, because last time we saw Morales, he had a family, and they are nowhere to be seen. And now he's a savior, holding a gun at Rick. So, yeah, it probably hasn't been a happy journey for him. So even though that was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, I still enjoyed the episode as a whole. It was a lot of fun to watch. It just wasn't as good as the premiere. Like, the premiere was like Die Hard for me. Like, it's very action heavy, but the plot and the acting and the directing, the writing, all that, it's all there, and it's all very well done. This episode was more like a Jason Statham movie. You know, like, plot and acting is maybe a little secondary. I mean, okay, the acting wasn't bad in this episode. Like, there wasn't anyone where I'm like, well, you are just not a good actor. At least none of the main people. But I mean, plot-wise, it just wasn't quite as strong. So yeah, felt more like a throwaway Jason Statham B-movie action flick. Overall, I think I'd give this episode an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. Overall, it's more entertaining than it is hard to believe, I guess. So, that'll do it for this video, and I'll see you next time.